Having trouble with your garage door? Problem solved. Call Direct Service Overhead Garage Door Company. We're your go-to team for garage door repair, new garage doors, openers, and more. We offer same-day service. We're always ready when you need us. Best of all, you can book your appointment online or talk to a live operator 24/7. No machines, no waiting. So whether it's a broken spring or a brand new garage door, trust the local experts at Direct Service Garage Doors. Call us today or visit directserviceoverhead.com.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Lights Live. Tim Neal has entered the building. We can have it. Just feels so much more official, man, when I've got you or Travis, but especially you on Monday nights.
I'm not sure it's me. I think it's just that it has the cooler intro and the cooler music.
I knew you were going
to
go there.
I maintain that my show has the coolest music and the coolest intro. Period.
I knew you were going to go with that.
That's why when we get on Monday nights, it should start out with something like the #1 Razorback show on the internet. Most loved, most viewed, most copied.
Oh, well, that's a bold claim, but yeah.
I'm just saying. There was a time there for a little while, if you remember, that we could say something, we could almost track it that other shows would do.
Well, now hold on. I mean, there's a lot of them.
We talked about wearing tuxes. We talked about wearing tuxes one time for a show. Next show we saw, I don't remember what show it was. I'm not going to name names and pick on guys, but they come in suits or tuxes or something, and it's like, yeah, they were watching a show.
I really think that was a coincidence, man. I don't listen.
How?
Well, I mean, that is fair, but I think it was like the next week. It wasn't like their next show they did that. It was like next week that did happen. I think that was
archive.
I think that was a coincidence. I don't think anyone's trying to copy that. Are there other channels that have done some similar things? Sure. To be fair, I'm not the very first live streamer. Like, really, you could argue I'm copying off other creators.
I don't want to hear that. No, but when we had the #1 podcast being filmed out of Arkansas called "Don't Read the Comments," we started doing this thing where we would watch the Razorback games and we would just comment over them, and then all of a sudden, everybody and their dog started watching the Razorback games and commenting. All you guys that are out there doing podcasts and shows and stuff, you can say, but we were the first. Often imitated, never duplicated. That is now Tuss Talk because we moved from Don't Read the Comments.
You're just trying to pick fights. That's all you're trying to do.
That's what I do. It's what I do. Ask John Haas. That's what I do. I pick fights.
Yeah. I mean, there's been something. Listen, again, you can argue that hey, listen, I literally did a huff and puff. Okay. That was imitating Trey Biddy's walk and talk. So you kind of argue that Ty was copying off Trey. And I was. Mad respect to Trey Biddy because walk and talk is like, it's worldwide. Everybody, it's on the internet, worldwide. It's big. Hog Nation loves it, and it's good stuff too.
You got to be careful when you say huff and puff. We start thinking you're talking Harry Potter like you're a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey, but I'm Slytherin though. On the game, did you guys play Hogwarts Legacy? I was Slytherin. House Slytherin for the win, baby. All right, everybody, as you're hopping in here, make sure you like, share, hit the subscribe button. Don't be afraid to comment. Leave us a comment. Super chats will always take priority. We got a number of things to talk about, and we're going to stretch them out a little bit because I think, we can go pretty deep on some of these. Making sure we got all of our making sure I got all my links shared here on the on Grumpy Old People book, aka Facebook. So Ty, hang on, what's this? Hog Blitz says, Ty, sure hope we're not hurt and tired and heading into the NCAA tournament. What say ye? Yeah, we're going to get into that, Blitz. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. Let's start off again. Shout out to Patreon supporters. By the way, actually, before we go too much further, don't forget we're doing an auction for this card. Hunter Henry autographed, and he autographed it. 2015 John Mackey Award winner, former Arkansas player. It's a gorgeous card. See how thick it is? The thickness. This card is on auction, and right now the high auction, I won't say the name, this person, we're up to $50 on this card. So if anyone wants to get in on this, we're going to auction off more cards. These are cards that they're just, I got to pay shipping because they can't be shipped as flats. The post office down here is giving me a lot of shit about it. So I'm like, well, I've got to figure out a way to get these shipped and not lose my ass on these cards. So I'm just gonna auction them off. And I've got several. The next one I'm gonna auction off is really badass. I'm gonna advertise it here a little bit. Anyways, okay, let's get into the first topic here. Boogie response. I know you guys saw that graphic, and so ESPN's playing. You know, they've got Arkansas and Florida playing. Trying to find the screenshot here, and here it is, right here. Boom. This was posted on ESPN during the game. This was from his YouTube, I guess, where the original comment where he made this comment. It taught me one minute they love you. The next minute they hate you. As soon as I got hurt, nobody checked in. Nobody texted me like, you good? How's your hand? It just goes to show the love wasn't real. And you can see there at the bottom, YouTube/the Boogie Fland. I don't know about anybody else, but that obviously looks like that's a shot at Arkansas.
Well, especially because they put it in the graphic on last season at Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it says it right up top on last season at Arkansas. A very broad there with that, right? Like there's no, I mean, this was insane that ESPN does this because when you look, so people on Twitter were posting, and this was they were calling Boogie Fland out. They said, well, that's an outright lie because we have you on Hogs Plus, and I'll play it here. It's 32 seconds long. Get you off my studio. There we go. Share screen. Here it is. This is Hogball Burner. He's a good follow on Twitter. Don't know him personally, but he's a good follow on Twitter. So let's play this. This was Boogie Fland just lied, and we got receipts.
I got on the team Monday. I got greeted very nicely. Just happy to be back with my team. You know, they supported me fully. Coaches supported me fully. And, you know, I'm just ready to give the energy on the bench. They played with swagger. They did what they did. I mean, that was dope. You know, just including me. You know, even though I wasn't there physically.
Well, now wait a minute. Was that a FaceTime?
Looks like it.
Sure was.
Still there, you know, over the phone. So that was a dope thing. And, you know, I'm really just happy to be back. You know, be with the team, give the energy on the bench, and just, you know, watch us get dubs.
Well, they certainly got dubs
without you.
He just didn't fit. It's good that he's coming along at Florida. Fine, whatever, you know. Okay, so see if this will work. If it'll let me flip right over. Boogie Fland then clarifies. I don't want to play the entire clip because it's 2.5 minutes long. Let me. There's got to be a quicker way to do this. Share screen. You gotta go all the way back. Here we go. Share.
It's called OBS.
Well, yeah, fair.
Taught me a lot of lessons.
So this is him. This was from the video that the ESPN originally quoted. This is where they drew from. And just listen. This is crazy to me. I don't know why we're not more like pissed at what ESPN did.
I mean, one last year, it taught me was 1 minute they love you, next minute they hate you. And what I mean by that is when I was on the court, everybody loved me. Everybody calling me, everybody texting me saying, oh, you're gone this year, this and that. Keep going, this and that. And then as soon as I got hurt and wasn't able to do what I do in the court, nobody checked in. Nobody texted me like, "Yo, you good? How your hand? You know, if you didn't get hurt, you would still be like, you know what I mean? I ain't get that same love and support that I got when I was on the court than when I was off the court. And I feel like that was one of the toughest lessons for me because, like, you know, like it just goes to show the love wasn't real. You know what I mean? It was just because it felt like the love was like beneficial to them, like, you know what I mean? Just so they could say they did it. You know what I mean? Like,
see, that's the part, because some people believe that is still a shot at like the coaching staff, that's still a shot at the Arkansas coaching staff. But see, he clarifies it, sort of. For clarity, I never made any negative comments about Arkansas. Here's the full clip of what I said, so you can hear it directly. Appreciate all the love and support. Also, feel free to subscribe to my channel. So I don't know if I want to play the rest of this or not, but I took that as he's probably talking about, you know, maybe family members, people, well, you know, distant family members or friends and family around him at that time. I didn't take this as this was some kind of shot at the coaching staff or maybe the players, maybe, because I'm sure he had friends on that team. I mean, Billy Richmond and Brazil and Wagner, those guys were all there. Knox, so maybe he could have been talking about them. I don't think so. I don't take it that way at all. I think he's talking about people in his like circle at the time.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you're right. It just doesn't sound like it's directed at coaching staff. We've seen players talk about coaching staff, and they'll call them out and say the coaches didn't check on me. The coach is this, but it sounds more like maybe friends back home or friends he's made who are like, "Oh, you're going to the league. Well, behind you," and then you're hurt. Well, maybe nothing's happening with you now. So I'm not going to check in with you till I hear you're better.
Yeah.
For that matter, I remember being on Twitter. I'm sure we could have some people go run through Twitter over last year and see, but I remember lots of people posting, "Can't wait for you to be back," and stuff like that. There was a lot of fan base. I don't think it was a shot at the Arkansas fan base because he had the support.
Yeah,
it does seem more like a shot at the people, like you would expect any young star has got people who are hoping that they, you know, can ride his coattails into some money when he gets in the league or whatever. That's kind of what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I think so too. He was beloved here. I mean, that's just the way it is in Arkansas, though. Like, especially if you're someone of that level of talent, you know. I mean, I'm not to say that Hog fans are just picking and choosing who they feel for, but I mean, you know, they wanted him back on the floor, and there was definitely fans were ready to get him back. There, you saw the coaching staff and the players talking to him on the FaceTime. That's why I just don't buy for a second that this was aimed at anyone at Arkansas. I think, again, like we already kind of said, it was most likely maybe inner circle people. So I don't know. You guys tell me in the comment section what you think. Do you think that it's just is it ESPN being ESPN here? It's what Transplanted Texan said. ESPN, the tabloid sports network. Yeah, this is dirty, man. They did him dirty. That graphic is insane. Like, you clearly, there's no clear evidence there to suggest that was a shot at Arkansas one way or another. And so for them to post something like that was, I don't know, man. I thought ESPN would catch so much more hell from Arkansas fans over that. I really did. Now, some people, I'm not saying nobody did, but some people did, but it felt like that went way under the, kind of got swept under the rug and like, whatever. I don't know if that's maybe because of the initial reaction, the way that was framed, and maybe some people are like, "Oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said what I said," and, you know, maybe backed away from it. I don't know.
Brim says he called it out, and I remember seeing Brim call that out on X.
Oh yeah, he did. That's right. He did. He did. Brim did call that out. You're exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they ought to be. I'm sorry, man. I think they ought to be ashamed of themselves for something like that. I could understand if there was something to it. Then sensationalism, it's understandable. Like, oh my God, Boogie Fland, I get it. You know, I mean, everyone's looking for clout one way or another, even ESPN, believe it or not. There's a lot of competition in these streets.
I'd be curious to hear the question, because you don't hear the question even from Boogie's standpoint. Like if the interviewer is sitting there and said, "Hey, tell us about how you feel about the Arkansas coaches and players back when you got injured," and then he goes into this, that brings a whole level of clarity of who it's aimed at. What was the actual question?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's unfortunate that we don't have the question, but it doesn't come across the way that they presented it to me.
Peanut Butter Posse. Hey, I think I think their front court is absolutely carrying them. There's no doubt. They're the three bigs they can rotate. The three guys that can rotate the 4 and the 5 are so, they're just so good. And their guards are coming around. But it's easy to look really good against Arkansas's defense.
Well, you also could make a case for their opponents are all carrying them, because they're on their backs and grabbing their arms and holding on to them for dear life. So the opponents are carrying them on the court for sure.
You should have seen the Florida Gator fans of mine. Have you gone back and looked at the comments? Like, I've got Florida fans that are, "Oh, we got you in your feelings. You're so salty, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, bro, okay, I guess. I definitely wasn't happy. I mean, I don't know how anyone who covers Arkansas is a fan of Arkansas that does all this to this extreme that I do, and watch that and not be like, what the hell? But there's no doubt that they were. Yeah, well, we're gonna get it. We've got it. That's actually our next segue, as talking about the kind of second reaction to that game. ESPN sucks too. They're so out of touch. They spend like 8 hours a day talking NBA when nobody cares. Yeah, the NBA is faltering. I think that's, that contractually they are obligated, I'm sure, for some of those shows that they do. I saw they switched out, and this is not it. We're not getting political. We're not talking about women's sports and shitting on them, but they are swapping out their Sunday coverage of baseball for women's sports. And I mean, I know women, I know the WNBA is picking up a little. I know they're picking up specifically mostly because of Caitlin Clark. Let's be real. I mean, I'm sorry, but she is really covering that league. She's propped that league up on her shoulders. And so ESPN's trying to get in on what they believe is a surge. Baseball, is this more of a sign that baseball is just not, it is just not what it once was? Attendance is down. I mean, hell, even the Cardinals. Say what you want about the Cardinals organization the last, I don't know, seems like forever. They still typically were at the top of Major League Baseball in attendance. And like the last, I think, couple of years, it has dropped significantly. And I'm sure ratings are following as well. Fishman says WNBA is totally dead, only loses money. Well, I wouldn't say totally dead. I think that's incorrect. Totally dead is not right. That is not correct.
It does lose money every year, but
it does.
They made more money last year than they've made in the previous 5.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say it's totally dead. The quality of play is up. The quality of officiating rivals the SEC. It might even be worse than SEC officiating, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if you've actually watched a game, Ty.
I haven't.
But, I mean, they'll let them clothesline girls right there on the floor. They'll clothesline them, no calls. They might even – a defensive player might clothesline an offensive player, and they'll call an offensive foul. I mean, it's that bad.
Wow.
So – it's like watching hockey. Women's NBA was like watching hockey last year as far as the fights breaking out and stuff. It's unrivaled, I think, in poor officiating.
I wish
you could be close.
I wish I could like that sport. Baseball is just a damn snooze fest for my TikTok brain.
Agreed.
Oh, man. Hey, make sure you guys like the stream, huh? Like it. Hit the like button. Smash it. Slap it. Kick it in the face, but hit the like button. So there was a deficit last year. Here's what I do know, Fish. They're expanding. They're building a team in Detroit, and that's usually not a sign that a league is dying. It's no different than when Walmart was growing, they're building new stores. McDonald's was growing, they're building new stores. This is the same way for professional sports. When there's growth, you see, financial growth, then you see the stadiums start popping up, new cities popping up. And eventually, like the NFL is trying to go worldwide, which I guess they kind of already are. It seems like every team or most teams feel like they're playing a game overseas. I think they're playing in like Mexico City, or did that happen this year?
No, wasn't it Brazil this year?
Was it Brazil?
I think it was Brazil. I'll be
that's
honest.
wild.
I don't watch the NFL that much.
Mm.
I'm a conspiracy theorist. The NFL's fixed.
Oh, you're one of those. Here we go.
It's awful. It's all WWE at this point. The NBA, the NFL, it's all WWE on a different canvas.
We're not gonna go down that hole. F them. I don't IDGAF. If they care or not, obviously they don't. Oh, I guess, is he talking about ESPN? Before what happens is I scroll up and then I get at the bottom of the conversation and start there and move my way up. Maybe I should start going or starting from the top and then reading down. ESPN wanted to make it a bad look on Arkansas, says Kyle, talking about this Boogie Fland situation. No, I think they're just they're trying to create controversy to an extent here. They're trying to get clicks. They're trying to get people to click over to the game. Like that's what this is.
It's clickbait. Yeah, for sure.
It is exactly what it is. It is clickbait. Boogie seems like a good kid. Even if he felt that way, I doubt he would have said it. There you go. I agree. All right, Tim, I specifically slotted this in because I want your response to this game on Saturday. Did I know you picked Florida? Listen, we know. You picked Arkansas to lose this game.
Hold on, just one moment.
Oh,
let's take a moment of silence for I was right. I was right, Ty. I was right. I said Arkansas would lose to Florida and Bama and win out the rest of their games. You'll find out they beat Texas. I already saw it in the future. I'm just kidding, but they will. They're going to win out from here on. They're going to beat Texas and Missouri. This is not even going to be a competitive final two games. I was right. Okay.
So so you're right about that. What though? Did you see it unfolding that way? Because I don't think anybody saw the game unfolding that way.
Well, I really didn't think we were going to lose the way that we lost, but I did get this controversial moment with you that I wish I could go back and replay. I don't have the ability to throw the replay on there, but where I talk about how the league protects the top teams. And so you get bad officiating and it's even worse on a home court. So if you get Florida at home with bad officials, they're 10 times worse because the league's protecting them. And that's exactly what you saw. You don't want to blame the officials. I don't want to blame the officials for the loss. I want to blame the officials for how bad the loss was. Okay. We probably would have lost either way. Florida's front court is amazing. And our front court is trash, except for Brazil. But the loss would have happened, but the way that it happened was 100% SEC and SEC officials and home cooking and the way that the teams at home can get away with anything. And I know that you don't think there's a conspiracy there, but the stats bear it out. It's really, really bad. And that's what happened to us as far as how bad we lost. I think we would have lost either way though.
Well, the stats show the how, not the why. I mean, they don't listen.
I mean, if you look at the overall home game stats for SEC teams and particularly leaders, and this is football, this is basketball, the stats bear out that home teams in the SEC win more.
Oh, well,
and top 2 and top 3 teams that have a chance to go somewhere and do something big get calls they shouldn't get on a regular basis. And that happened in Florida too.
Okay, but then how do you explain Florida dog walking Alabama last year in the SEC tournament?
I don't know what to say. The SEC tournament doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't, but it
doesn't matter. So don't throw a game up that doesn't matter. It didn't hurt anybody.
It's a game that happened. I mean, it happened. It happened on what would be ratings wise a big game.
You don't protect your teams in games that don't matter. You protect them in games that matter.
See, but now the burden
absolutely mattered.
The burden of proof is on you, though. How can you prove? Saying stats show the whole thing is incorrect.
I'll have to go back and pull it together for you. I've seen it. I've seen the stats. There's other people who have done this research. It's out there.
Where's my tinfoil hat?
Go back and pull it for you. It's no problem.
Where's my tinfoil hat meme? I agree.
nevertheless, I'm going to finish up what my feelings.
Okay.
You saw the Rick Pitino video I sent you.
I did.
I don't know if you guys saw it, but you should look up the Rick Pitino motivational video that's out this week. This is the thing for me. I'm not calling for a coaching change. Calipari, I love what he's done. We're at 21 wins. We're not questioning going into the SEC tournament how many games we need to win in the tournament to make the NCAA tournament. That is a testament to Coach Cal. Love this man. However, some coaches have their strengths. And I'm not sure how much motivation is a strength of Coach Cal. Because when I watch Rick Pitino's little motivational speech to his team, I'm thinking, why has nobody been following around Pringle all season long saying all of those exact same things that Rick Pitino was saying to his team? Someone should put that in a constant earbuds in Nick Pringle's ears and say, nice wink, and say, you get down on yourself because you miss a basket. Where were you raised? How soft are you? What's your problem? Get it together. We don't care about your misses. Go get makes and play defense. I'm telling you, we need a motivational coach on the sideline that just grabs a guy, shakes him a little bit, and says, what's wrong with you right now? We got you for a reason. Go play up to it.
Yeah.
Because we have Acuff. And I told you that off the camera. We have Acuff. He was obviously coached that way. He doesn't look at a missed shot and get down and give up the game. We have probably 6 players who see us get down by 8 points. And as far as they're concerned, the game is done. It's over. So sorry, guys. I guess we'll just play this one out and come back for the next one. Maybe we'll win the next one. We need a motivator, a better motivator as an assistant coach.
Do you think Cal's kind of – listen, I think he can – I don't know what kind of motivator he is. I mean, I've seen some of the stuff, behind the scenes and seen him coach his guys. I think he does coach them pretty well. He's not a Houston nut in the locker room. Okay. He's not even a Rick Pitino, like in the locker room. That video that you're talking about, I wish I had that queued up, is a really good representation of something I think this team, it does feel like they are lacking. I don't think that Cal is falling short in that category of like being able to motivate his guys. I think he finds different ways to motivate them, like showing them last year's film. He did that with Pringle, didn't work. It worked with Ewan. He finds different ways. I don't know about the halftime stuff. I don't watch all the extra Arkansas Razorback propaganda. I'm sorry, the marketing stuff. I'm kidding. It's totally fine. They should do they're doing their thing. That's fine. Everybody does it. But yeah, I think you're right. It feels like they are kind of missing that. And I've never known, I guess Kentucky Peanut Butter Posse's in chat. He could answer this one. I don't know. Was he more rah, at the beginning of his time at Kentucky? Was he more like on their ass? Listen, it wasn't that long ago at Bud Walton Arena when he was coaching the Wildcats. He got a technical and he got kicked out of the damn game. He got a technical in that game against Florida when Florida's bozo coach was mouthing off. He mouthed off right back. But when it comes to the players in the locker room, maybe it does feel like they're playing some very uninspiring basketball at times, especially on the defensive side of the floor, defensive end of the floor. And it feels like something is missing. I don't know what it is. You're probably right. They need to hire Rick Pitino if he decides to drop from St. John's next year, and maybe they could reach out to him and have him FaceTime, at halftime. Like, hey, give these guys give them
a class to our assistant coaches. Like Cal's not going to listen to Pitino. They're not even friends, according to
That's
Cal.
very fair. Yeah.
But maybe Ronnie Brewer needs to have a lesson from Rick Pitino on how to coach up guys and inspire them to greater play. We know Pringle's capable of better play. And the thing that I think, like, I guess Alabama's coach said we weren't worried about Pringle. We knew who he was. That kind of thing right there should have been all he needed to hear. And it wasn't. So I don't know how you motivate him, but man, I would have run through a brick wall for Rick Pitino after watching that video.
Yeah. I would have too. That's the first thing I told you. I was like, well, damn, now I'm motivated to get stuff done, even though I really didn't today. But I was definitely motivated after watching that. That was fantastic. I think Cal missed on Pringle and Ewan. Can't motivate a turd to be a diamond ring, no matter who your coach is. Yeah.
But we've seen it. No, we've seen it. They're capable. They're capable. That's the problem. They're capable, but they don't play up to it.
Yeah. Well, we have seen Ewan on the offensive end of the floor play fantastic.
Yes, 18 points, and I don't remember how many offensive boards the other night, right?
Yeah. He had a big game on the boards. Yeah, I think it was like, I want to say it was like 6 or 7 offensive rebounds, like the most all year combined with points, just off offensive boards. That's when you can win games, when they're doing that. Here's my, like, kind of taking a deep breath on and by the way, I did sleep. Somebody asked me if I slept very well Saturday night. I did, but I slept angrily. Pretty sure I had a dream of like beating up a Florida Gator mascot. What do you call them? Like a teddy bear, but what do you call those? Full of felt, a stuffy. And I'm pretty sure I was beating the hell out of it. Like, I was so mad, man. It's more that I was mad at Arkansas, and I just, Florida fans are one thing. Like, I'm good friends with a couple that, like, and only one of them reached out to me and was laughing, like, bro, y'all are getting what do you say? You're dumped in the first round or something. I was like, well, after tonight, it's kind of hard to argue that. But I mean, it was so frustrating because here's the thing. If you look at last year's Sweet 16 or Elite 8 lineup, the teams that made the Elite 8, there's something that they all had in common, as far as I could tell, and it's also possible that I overlooked it. No one had, outside of Alabama, had a 14-point loss during the regular season. Actually, Alabama's loss was in the SEC tournament. So I checked. I have it noted here. I checked all Elite 8 teams from a year ago. Not a single one of them had a single, what I would consider, like, to me, 15 or more points is a blowout loss, in my opinion. Maybe everyone differs. To me, that's a blowout. That's not a very competitive game if you're losing. Now, there's another way to look at that, right? Like, if you start fouling, to save time, and all of a sudden this goes from a 6-point game, all of a sudden, because of the amount of fouls they had to give, they've got a 15-point lead. That's a little different. But what we saw, I don't know that any of those teams had anything like that. And Bama, again, they were curb stomped in the SEC tournament, 104-82. That was like their worst loss. This Razorback team, I'll tell you who they remind me of. Now, by the way, this is how many 14 or more point losses do they have now? Is that 3 or 4? You can look at that while I'm thinking of this if you want to. But I'll tell you who they remind me of. This Razorback team reminds me a lot of Ole Miss last year. Not in terms of who they are on the floor. They're obviously, I think Beard did a hell of a job last year, and they went on a really nice run. This Razorback team, as far as similar looks and scores, and of course you compare the schedules, it reminds me of last year's Ole Miss team who had 2 blowout losses, played Purdue close away from home early in the year. That was what would be our Duke game, or maybe you could argue Michigan State. Beat some respectable teams, and then they turn around and they get curb stomped by Memphis 87-70, and got thrashed by Florida in the Swamp 90-71. And then they went on to a good run in the NCAA tournament, making it to the Sweet 16, losing to Michigan State by just 3 points. So there is hope that this team can maybe get to the Sweet 16 if Ole Miss was able to do it last year. Now, again, no 2 years are alike. I get that. No 2 teams are alike. Ole Miss was built quite a bit different than Arkansas is this year. I would argue Arkansas's efficiency on offense far superior than what Ole Miss did last year, although I think they were a really good two-way ball team. But if I remember right. But, yeah, this is who they remind me of, and that kind of gives you a little bit of hope moving forward. I don't know how much, because the downside of this team, and we saw it once again against Florida, it's some of the worst defense you're going to watch. It is some horrific defensive play on the floor for Arkansas. That's what gives you pause. I don't know how far they go. I'm kind of over that, Tim, trying to figure out where they go. Obviously, we don't know what the bracket looks like. We don't know who they're matched up with and their seeding and everything, but it's just infuriating watching them play defense, and that's what gives you a lot of pause. Yeah. Again, Ole Miss last year, by the way, they swept Arkansas. They went 2-0 against the Razorbacks. They beat them in the regular season. They beat them in the SEC tournament. So, but they do remind me of, just in terms of like who they've lost to and the point disparity in some of their losses. They do remind you a lot of Ole Miss. But I don't know. I feel like every week we ask the same question. How do you feel now about Arkansas advancing in the NCAA tournament? I'll say this. I definitely feel like I went from being pretty charismatic about it. Like, no, this is a team that's absolutely going to advance. And here we are after this loss. It's like this. How many times can we say, how many times do we say, burn the tape, move on? That's not who we are.
Twice.
It's twice. And by the way, you still lost to Kentucky at home, who I think you're better than.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to say, and it hinges on defense and poor front court play. The thing I go back to, this will date me. You'll know in the comments who's as old as me and who's not. Back when Nolan took a team against UNLV, UNLV had Larry Johnson, and if you remember Larry Johnson, I mean, he was built like Ray Lewis, even in college. And so when they beat us, he went to Nolan and he said, I've seen this interview. He said, you need to get yourself some men. And
he did.
We did. And we went and got some men. We got Corliss Williamson. And we've never had another Corliss Williamson since. And I don't know, maybe there's just not that many of them out there. But we need to get some men for the front court.
Yeah. And I said that in the post game about how they play like, of course, I was definitely salty. All right, I'm not gonna lie, I was salty, but I did say that they play like boys. It's like we've got boys on the floor, especially in the front court.
Mm-hmm.
We need men. We need men, and maybe that's what you do in the portal. Maybe that's what you go and get. You get a big. You go find yourself a 6'10", 6'11", maybe a 7 foot, 260 pound, just Goliath underneath around the post. Problem is there's not very many of them, and they get plucked up pretty quick. And Cal, of course, you can talk about his history with going and getting really good fives. It's not got the greatest history, especially when you compare it to the guards he's been able to pull out of the high school ranks over his long 10 years as head coach, regardless of where he's coached. But that's what it just feels like. They're missing that. They're missing somebody who can take up space, not get pushed out of the way, aggressive on offensive boards and defensive rebounds, and it just doesn't feel like they really have it. Not consistently enough. I mean, where was Boogie against Florida? Where the hell did he go? He had 4 points and was continuously. He was always pushed out of space, and it gave up wide lanes. And so did Ewan. Gave up wide lanes right to the rim where they could finish without any contact, without anyone going up and contesting the shot. It was just too easy, and that's been their issue all year. Florida was just so damn good at it. They're just missing such a huge piece to what you would really feel comfortable with going into the tournament. They're missing it 100%. Be lucky to get through the first weekend. Says
can't argue that right now.
You can't. I mean, what's it going to take for everyone to get back on board? Because it does feel like everyone is kind of jumping ship, and I'm not saying to jump ship, but it does feel like a lot of people are they're off now. I mean, I've already seen is it spring football season? Like I've already seen people saying that. Like, I think it's still too early. Of course, we got to get that. We've got to get our seeding and get March going, or the NCAA tournament. But what's it going to take? Is it winning out and then maybe going far in the SEC tournament, maybe playing for the championship, the SEC tournament championship? Is that what it's going to take to get people back on board? I don't know.
But does Cal even really value the SEC tournament? I don't feel like he does.
I don't think he does. I seem to remember an interview last year where he kind of gave like a passive aggressive comment about the SEC tournament. And I could be thinking of a maybe a year when he was at Kentucky and he said that, and maybe I'm mistaken, but I know Dave Van Horn has said that he's made some passive aggressive comments about the SEC tournament down in Hoover. Because baseball damn sure ain't saving us. Hey, their bats came alive game 2 and 3, but
give them a little grace. They all had the flu at once. And I think Ty's been through that flu this year so far. That's not a joke.
Yeah.
So half the team, half the baseball team had the flu, I think.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
Hey, I'm getting my flowers. Hey. I thought Cal burned the tape 3 times this season, but I'll go with your 2 tie. It may be 3. It feels like 4. I mean, it's just happening it's too common. And again, anybody can go look that up. Go look at the bracket last year. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one of those teams did get the hell beat out of them, but I wonder how many of them had that many games that played that poorly and had those kind of losses on the road, 3 times where you're losing by 14 or more. In my opinion, Joe Cool, appreciate the comment. Again, make sure you guys like, share, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit the notification button and click the all button. That way you know as soon as we go live. Like tonight, we went live a little later than usual. In my opinion, it is who we are. Our front court is terrible. We don't play defense. As good as A-Cuff has been, we need more. We can't rely on a freshman to carry the team every single game. And a freshman that's on like 1 foot, apparently. Like, it just, you're right. Eventually you are just kind of who you are. He also says, Joe Cool says, I hope Cal gets older and more experienced players next season and depth, because what, Joe? What is depth? What is it? It matters. Quality depth matters in all sports. All the top baseball teams had a bad week. A bunch of non-ball knowers. Oh, McAfee Ligma. But he's it's baseball. It's way too soon to start freaking out. But yeah, burn the tape. Houston, Obby, Florida says Camo. Ty A-Cup's turf toe is bothering him. Yeah. It is. It's wearing on him, and that's why. That's the other concern. And I think Brim said it in chat earlier about how they're going to have to rest him. I don't know that sitting him out the rest of the regular season and then the SEC tournament is enough time for him to get right. Listen to some other people. I think it was Chuck Barrett that said that this morning on Chuck and Bo. Said something to that extent. That hell, it might have been Clay Henry, because Clay Henry, I think, called in this morning and said that. And so that makes you wonder if there's more there that we don't know about. Like maybe this is a bigger problem than we think. And then Pringle, I think, has got his back. I think he's wearing like a back brace. Did I hear someone say that? So that's a little disturbing. And then, of course, you got Knox, who's still out. And apparently Isaiah Seeley's banged up. I mean, it is just bad timing. And again, I told someone earlier when we went live, we talk about that a little bit. That is a problem. That is a concern that you are this banged up, and you've got 2 games left, the SEC tournament, and then March Madness is here, baby. NCAA tournament's just around the corner. Yeah, it's a bad time to start racking up injuries. Judd says, "Sorry, I'm late. Boogie Fland is a bum, and he can." I think Judd's buying the official narrative of what ESPN. I think you just got baited by ESPN, Judd.
Yeah, he says he's late. He probably hasn't got to the explanation yet.
Yeah. Fishman says Houston, Auburn, Georgia, and Florida all kicked our teeth in.
I mean, Houston beat us by 9.
That was a game, though. If I remember right, Cal said at the end where he was like, they felt like they never had a chance to win that game. But yeah, they didn't get blown out. They actually kind of hung around better than I thought they were against Houston.
I don't feel like single-digit losses or blowouts.
No, not that. Not. I mean, that one they did control. I don't think Arkansas even led that game.
No, I think that's true, but it wasn't a 20-pointer or anything. It wasn't the embarrassment that Auburn was, or the embarrassment that Florida was.
Yeah. No, it was this comment. Sorry. Hey, Cuff, please take my foot. You can have it.
The next one just as funny.
Yeah, it is. This is pretty funny. It's a white foot, not as much burst. Yeah. Y'all are wild in chat. Oh my god. I can't read all these. Good Lord. Pringle's been wearing braces and wraps. Yeah. That's right. He just doesn't. Yeah, you don't see him with it on before like tip off or anything. You don't see it tucked under his jersey.
Well, that's just to hold that soft taco shell together that is his body. I mean, dude is softer than Charmin. Get a little sweaty tears on the court, falls apart.
Shout out to Central Arkansas, by the way, says Brim. Yeah, they're playing pretty good ball. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch them. I haven't. I've only seen highlights. I'm gonna pull up their record. I think they're they're 20-11. They lost a bunch of non-cons as expected. They lost to, of course, Arkansas beat the pants off of them. North Carolina beat the pants off of them. Vanderbilt beat them by 11. But then, they've won. God, they've won like 14 of their last 15 or something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So, about 14, maybe 13 of their last 15. They're playing really good ball. I don't they got a lot of work to do, right? So, to get into the tournament. But I don't know how you feel about their floor. The basketball court they play on, it's different. That gray with the purple logo in the middle, it takes some getting used to, man. Before too long, I wonder if they're not going to replace these floors with the big ass. Have you seen these like floors where they could change the logo? It's like a big TV underneath the court.
I haven't seen that, but it doesn't surprise me.
I saw that somewhere on Twitter, and I was like, actually, I hate that and love it at the same time. I hate it because I'm kind of a traditionalist. I like just an old school basketball court, but it's actually kind of cool.
Your opponent's going to get up there to shoot a free throw, and you're going to turn on the TV mode of that floor, throw them completely off.
Yeah, I could see that going awry. I mean, think about it. Now you got to rely on the power within the building, and we have seen power go out. I guess you can't play anyways with the lights on.
Can't keep the shot clocks working. How are you going to keep a floor right?
Kentucky has one. Yeah. Also, so you have to think if you don't play ACUF for a game or two, that's 38 additional minutes that have to go towards an even slimmer roster without ACUF, putting in even more strain on Billy and Leak. They're going to have to do something to get these guys rested up. I don't know what the right thing is to do here. I think they're still going to be playing for a double bye, or they're going to be in the double bye, because I'm leaning towards Arkansas at least splitting these last two games. That should still be enough, I think, to host or to be in the double bye. Missouri's right on your ass though, so I don't know. Maybe if you lose to Missouri, well, I guess it just kind of depends on where everything is at. But I think Arkansas, if they beat Texas, I think they might actually be locked for the double bye. Or maybe not locked. I don't know. Explain to me, did we go after why did we go after two European guys and the other dudes who don't get on the floor?
Our backups. All our backups. We have 13, 15 players, whatever it is. But we don't have good bigs.
Well, I know the one whose name we struggled.
Carlo.
Yeah, I think he's like an experimental player. I think from what I understand, if I remember correctly about how this all went down, he's someone that they think like maybe year two he could be someone who can sneak into the rotation somehow. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not really sure. Then this is a good point. Also, I think getting the double bye is the most important thing. We have to beat Mizzou to lock the double bye. Okay, so Arkansas has to beat Mizzou to lock. That's probably right. Unless Missouri slips up. I don't know who they play before they play Arkansas. So I'll look at that in a minute. All right. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see this. Taylen Green and Mike Washington. Man. Was this the best 2-10 team to ever play the game of football?
It was all talent, no coaching. Here's the thing. I don't think we had it wrong on Taylen Green the whole season long. The guy was athletic as hell, obviously, broke records, but being able to broad jump 11 feet and vertical 43 inches, being able to run a 4.3 doesn't fix your brain that there's 3 defenders on your one receiver. Don't throw it. Like, he still throws into double and triple coverage regularly because he can't read a defense. So is that coaching, or is that just he's not capable of reading defense? I don't know, but he's an amazing athlete for sure. Mike Washington, we knew he could run. Hold on to the ball is a different thing. So just because you can run 4.3 doesn't mean that sweat on your arm doesn't make the ball fall out just randomly at the most inopportune times possible. I know that sounds really negative, but those are the things that killed us. Fumbles killed us. Picks killed us. Those things aren't measured in an NFL combine. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, and that was so. I've been trying to look up.
Sorry.
Well, what were you going to say?
It wasn't a lack of athleticism. Our team was not a lack of athleticism. How many guys did we have run 22 miles an hour? How many guys did we have that were 6'2" and bigger and 300 plus pound offensive linemen? And, we had all the speed, the height, the strength. It was never that. It was always up here. It's always up here. We had a losing mindset from some guys, and we made mental mistakes left and right constantly. So, was it the most athletic 2-10 team ever? Probably.
I don't know that, because that's the thing that gets brought up all the time. I say all the time. Since the NFL Combine, since Green and Washington ran their 40s, that's kind of the saying now, is this was the best 2-10 team. Like, no, I don't know. Who cares? I think it's probably, I don't really care. What I do care about is that you did have a higher caliber of talent. On offense, they had a higher caliber of talent. I don't know if everyone saw Cam Ball. He's not going to get drafted. Like, his profile, his prospect grade is terrible, and he was near the bottom. And I think he's ranked like the 16th overall defensive tackle or something. Unless the team's really desperate and they want to grab him in the 6th or 7th round, maybe. But like, all the talent really felt like it was on the offense. There's no doubt. And of course we can go, that's the other conversation, right? That Petrino went out and just used all their money for offensive players. And yet Julian Neal, who I haven't actually looked up his numbers, he just kind of came to mind. But Neal is someone who was talked about at one point as a back end of the first round. Like, imagine if Washington, and I don't think this happens. It's probably not going to happen. But if Washington and Neal were both to be taken in the first round, I wonder how many 2-10 teams did have 2 first-round draft picks. I think that's probably what's so infuriating, is that they're going to have probably between 3 and absolute best case scenario 5 draft picks off this team. But even having 3 off a 2-10 team and then being up near the top, because I think now I'm starting to wonder if Taylen Green doesn't go a little higher than what I thought, because I said 7th round. Maybe he's showed his way into being a 3rd, 4th round draft pick. Because I'm with you, the mind, the brain, the quarterback brain feels like it needs like 4 more years of college football for him. I'm not saying he's not a smart kid. I'm sure he's a genius. I'm sure he's a bright kid. In terms of, the cliche kind of, he can't read a defense. I think he could at times, but then when the pressure was dialed up, he just full scramble. And they're going to see that in the NFL. The front offices, these scouts, they're smart. They're going to see that. Sometimes they just roll the dice on a kid. You see it all the time. Maybe that's what happens with Taylen Green. But that is what is infuriating, is that you could have potentially 3 draft picks in the top 3 rounds. And I don't know very many 2-10 teams do that. And it does speak to the what was happening with the coaching and just not doing a good job of evaluating the talent on the defensive side of the ball outside of Neal. Of course, Quincy Rhodes he's an in-state kid who's been here since he signed out of high school, so he wasn't a transfer. His evaluating was done his junior senior year of high school, but thank God he's coming back. Good Lord. So it is incredible. I mean, you're seeing Taylen Green's numbers here. These are insane. He's ranked, according to the total scorer, I don't know if you guys can see that, he's ranked as the 4th combine quarterback. Broad jump 11.2, vertical leap, like you mentioned, 43.5. And then the 4.36 40. This is Matt Jones territory, a freak of nature. When you combine the size, 6'6", 227, I think Matt was 6'6", 242, I think. And he dropped that 4.3, I think it was 4.36, 4.37. He might have been a half a step behind Green. And of course, Matt Jones was testing as a wide receiver. Taylen Green is testing as a quarterback. So I maybe someone rolls the dice on him and tries to switch him over to quarterback or to a wide receiver. I don't know. But boy, an awful lot of draft boards and analysts are talking about him playing quarterback at the next level and being someone who could be a quality backup somewhere. That's a little shocking considering what we saw the last 2 years. And you know, but it wasn't all terrible for Green. Don't forget, it looked like those first few games he was quicker on his release a little bit. Looked like he was kind of deciphering these defenses in coverage a little bit quicker. He was making slightly, I thought, better throws, and then it just all kind of fell apart. I don't know what the hell happened. I mean, he went on this downward trend, and it just never really recovered. And all of a sudden, now the KJ Jackson, put in KJ Jackson. That came to reality. I mean, KJ Jackson got an opportunity. For whatever reason. But yeah, his athleticism score is a 97. Of course, that ranks first. I heard too that if he were to test as a receiver, he would have tested number 1. But the thing about that is, but they do other drills for receivers, and he didn't partake in those drills because obviously he's there as a quarterback. So I don't even know how accurate that really is. But and then Mike Washington, who dropped that what was his 40? It was a 4.3.
4.33. It was the same as Darren McFadden.
Was it a 4.33?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I thought that was like a 4.36, 4.35. Oh my God, it is. Holy crap.
Yeah, he tied McFadden for the 6th fastest running back ever.
That's crazy. Pull that up here. I'm sure there is an easier way to do this. I'm just stupid. There it is. Yeah, he didn't actually score as high. He dropped to 8th on the total score. Again, this doesn't mean everything. I mean, I've kept up with these combines for a while, and this doesn't always tell the entire story. Obviously, they're going to watch tape. I don't know that Washington. I feel like Washington's probably going to be a 3rd or 4th round pick, but he could be a quality pick. I think that comparison that Petrino made about him earlier in the year was dead on. Nile Davis. Like that kind of speed. And he holds the record with the Kansas City Chiefs with the kick return for the longest kick return ever. It's like 103 yards. So plenty of speed there. And Mike Washington the same way. 39-inch vert and that 4.33 40-yard dash. Just incredible. Incredible. Hey, guys, make sure you like and share. Please do us a favor. If you have any questions or comments, fire away. And super chats will always take priority because I can pull them right up under starred. Matt Jones is still a better athlete. I agree. I don't know. Man, that's tough. I don't know. What Matt Jones's vertical leap was pretty similar. I know it was pretty high. I think Matt Jones, of course, that was a different time and a different offense. He didn't, he made mistakes. He fumbled the ball, he threw picks, but I don't know. It felt like he knew how to win. It felt like he knew how to put Arkansas on his shoulders and win games, but that's different from just talking about like athleticism. I don't know, man. Green
Jones ran a 4.37
at 6'6", 242, right?
His vertical was 39.5 and his broad jump was 10 foot 9 inches.
Oh yeah. So on paper, no, Taylen Green is the better athlete. He is a freak of nature. I have to put Taylen Green in the freak of nature category. I think the difference between him and Matt is Matt knew how to win games.
Yeah.
I mean, he not that they won a ton of games, but he knew how to put this. He didn't fold often the way that Taylen Green seemed to. Now, to be fair, we have a larger body of work to Taylen Green. Taylen Green was here for 2 years, so it's kind of, I don't know. It's difficult to compare these two. Yeah, Taylen Green, raw arm strength, stronger than Matt's. It just is. He has better arm strength than Matt. Take it from someone who did watch Matt Jones play. And watch Taylen Green practice 15, 25 feet away from him. Taylen Green's raw arm strength was insane. I mean, I said, his first year on campus, I said it's like a mobile Ryan Mallett. I mean, he can make throws in practice that were just ungodly. It was insane. And that's why coming out of that, I remember thinking like, oh my God, this team might actually be good after that first year, when he first got here. I thought they might actually win some games. This dude's fast. He's got a hell of an arm. But then, once the lights come on, Taylen Green and Taylen Green just didn't have he doesn't have the he's not a winner. And I hate to say that. At the college level, he's not a winner. I don't know what the NFL does with him. I don't know. I think I would probably look at him at wide receiver. That's what I would probably do, but I don't know. All right. Arkansas versus Texas. We're going right back into basketball. We touched on it a little bit, I feel like, earlier.
My gosh, they were like mirror images.
What's that?
Matt Jones, last 2 years at Arkansas. 283 out of 494 for 57.3% for 3990 yards, 33 touchdowns, 19 interceptions. The yardage difference is huge, but Matt Jones, I think, had a more run-oriented offense, right?
Yeah, they ran more of like an option.
Taylen Green, 34 touchdowns, 20 picks. Rushing, Matt Jones, 1329 yards, 14 touchdowns. Taylen Green, 1,379 yards, 16 touchdowns. Their total offense accounted for 47 touchdowns for Matt Jones, 50 for Taylen Green.
Whoa, really? That's Matt's last 2 years?
Yeah, 47 touchdowns.
Wow, I thought it was more.
So
here's what
the total offense accounted for that. He accounted for the 33 passing touchdowns and 14 rushing touchdowns. That's 47. Oh yeah, okay. So that was his. His total offense was 47 touchdowns. Taylen Green's was 50.
Okay. Here's what I'll say about Taylen Green, and I'm sure we'll talk about him more later on as the NFL draft comes and goes, but I think he's just in the wrong offense. I think absolutely should have been in Kendall Browse's offense. You saw what it did for KJ Jefferson. Now, KJ made really good decisions out of the RPO. That's the thing I'll always give him credit for. Out of that RPO, the way that veer and shoot was, the way it was put together and their schemes week to week, it always put KJ Jefferson in a really good spot. And that's the thing that Kendall Browse was so good at doing with KJ, was making sure that, the call sheet and the plays that they were calling, they were I don't want to say they're simple, but they played to KJ Jefferson's strengths. And I think Kendall Browse could have done the same thing for Taylen Green. And the other thing too is that team did not fumble the ball. That 2021 team, I remember they did not turn the ball over a ton. I'm not saying they didn't turn it over at all. And I do know they worked on quite a bit of ball security. That was something that it seemed like I don't know. It felt like that was a priority for those guys, and it showed on the field. I think Kendall Browse and the veer and shoot with with Taylen Green, I really think he would have blown away. Well, maybe not blown away. Okay. But would have beaten KJ Jefferson's records. He's just a freak athlete. And Kendall, that was something Kendall worked with KJ on in decision-making coming out of RPOs, coming out of the reads, whether to give it, keep it, or throw it. I think Taylen Green, with a little extra work, Kendall Browse was very hands-on with his quarterbacks. Again, I saw it. He worked with his quarterbacks a lot. So, was very hands-on with the entire offense, the way everything was kind of worked. I never felt that way. Enos was, watching Enos work, work with the quarterbacks. He was definitely verbal with his quarterbacks, but it didn't feel like he ran the offense in practice. Bobby, it certainly did. And with Kendall, I felt like Kendall, especially with the quarterbacks, was extremely hands-on. I don't know. Maybe other media people had a different take than I did. Maybe Courtney. I'd like to hear Courtney Mims's take on that. But I think Taylen Green he's better suited for that Kendall Briles veer and shoot offense. And I think he would have been, I think Hog fans would have loved him in that offense. I just don't think he could operate the Petrino offense. I just don't. And I understand too, like the production was there. We can't argue too much about the production. Like he still had that first year, he had like 3,300 yards of total offense. So some of it was there. It was just the mistakes. And then locking in on one receiver, on Andrew Armstrong. To be fair, Armstrong bailed him out a lot and could get open. So Ty is saying Briles over Bobby Petrino. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Only that Kendall and Taylen would have just made more sense in that offense in the veer and shoot. Like it's like Ryan Mallett, Tyler Wilson obviously can operate, the Petrino's offense, but you get someone like Taylen Green who's an athlete. I mean, he's a freaking nature, man. I mean, are you kidding me? 6'6", 227, and he dropped a 4.36? Are we for real? I mean, you should have won more damn games regardless, and that's what's so infuriating. They should have won more games, and that's the kind of stuff that does keep me up at night. It really does. Those losses, I was tossing and turning like, what are we doing? We got to figure this thing out. All right, last topic here. You know what? I might even give a link for people to call in if they want to call in and dispute anything we've said tonight. If you guys want to call in, link, let us know and I'll drop it. We've got a little bit of time.
Well, someone fact checked me on fumbles with Mike Washington, and that's true. He did not have any. I could swear I remember at least two.
I thought he had one or two.
But I looked on I'm looking actually at ESPN stats right now, and they show no fumbles for him. So good fact check to whoever that was farther up in the chat.
The Braylon Russell, I don't think again, hey, fact checker, come out for this. I don't think Braylon Russell does he have a single fumble in his 2 years here? I feel like he hasn't. And I feel like at one point in the year, I was thinking about that. Like, man, this guy doesn't fumble the ball. Of course, he lost his carries to Mike Washington.
I know we had running back fumbles. We had him in the Ole Miss game. I could have swore Mike Washington fumbled in the Ole Miss game.
Well, maybe.
But it's not showing on ESPN, so.
Oh, that's right. Russell had the game-losing fumble. That is right.
You have that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm telling you, this season I just want to put so far behind me. Like, I don't even want to. I mean, it's like, yeah, okay, they fumbled the ball, and I think you're right. I think Washington did fumble the ball. It's got to be somewhere. Maybe in fact, I know it is because I was looking at a breakdown on his draft profile, and one of the things that said weaknesses was ball security.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at ESPN career stats for him. 2025, 0 fumbles. So ESPN must have it wrong. I guess we could go to the Razorback stats side.
Yeah, Razorback stats probably better, or it would be better. There's extra clicking though when you go to their stat site.
Yeah,
I know. I was looking at a profile on him, and I'm sure it said the same thing about Taylen Green too. And now I don't see it. Anyways, man, I knew I should have saved that link. Damn it. I knew it. I was thinking at the time, I was like, I really ought to save this link. It was breaking down Mike Washington's draft stock, and Taylen Green's. All right, Arkansas versus Texas. We can move into that. If you guys, again, if you want the link, let me know. We'll send it in if you guys want to call in. Remember, super chats always take priority. I mean, Kelly Williams says Washington with the Memphis fumble. Yeah, and then here's Taiwan Porter. Washington fumbled in the Memphis game, and Russell fumbled in the Tennessee game. That's right.
Good, then I feel vindicated. Thank you very much. Another Tim is right.
ESPN, where player stats are secondary to tabloid.
Fair point.
That's fantastic. Who this will be, we're going to do this for 10,000 XP in chat. I know a lot of the Discord people have left already, but maybe if you guys if you're part of the playback gang, after the post live question or the comment question for 10,000 XP, I just want your Arkansas, Texas. Tell me who wins and why. Tell me who you got and why. If you think Texas comes in here and they exploit, listen, Brim brought this up earlier, and he's exactly right. I think there is a chance here where Acuff may not play, assuming Acuff, it kind of feels like Acuff's calling the shots here. But if he doesn't play, that's something you got to consider, because it's clear that this kid needs to sit. It's clear that Acuff needs to take a little time off. To get right for the NCAA tournament. I part of me is like, just don't let him play in the SEC tournament. Don't play him. And again, like Aragorn said in chat, the double bye is so big. So that makes this game even more important. Like, you're fighting for that double bye. And right now, Arkansas is 3 games out. Missouri's 4. Tennessee's 4. Kentucky's 4. So these next 2 games are vital. And so it's putting you between a rock and a hard spot with Acuff. Acuff clearly needs time off, and it may not just be him either. But tell me who you think wins in Arkansas, Texas. Tell me why. So where did my comparisons go? Scroll down. Texas is one of the streakiest hot cold teams in the SEC. At one point, the Longhorns had won 6 of 7 SEC games, including defeating top 20 Georgia and grabbing a dub at Missouri in that stretch of 7 games. Remember, Georgia at that time was playing, really good ball. So then they turn around after that and they lose 2 in a row. And then they also started the season off losing to Mississippi State at home. Like I said, very difficult team to get a read on. They are a very good. It's another top 25, top 30 offense. They're about 84 points a game. That puts them right at, I think, 28 rebounds per game. They're not terrible there. They're top 75, which is, it's not great. It's kind of like in between. And they're giving up just right around 76 points per game. One player, I cannot pronounce this kid's last name, and I swear I've heard it pronounced like 3 different ways. It's the big ass Lithuanian kid, the 7-footer for Texas. Mattis Voikate. This is one of the hardest last names.
And he struggles with I'm gonna leave you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Iamaliava. And this is Vokeatatus. Vokeatatus. I don't know. I can't pronounce it. And I have this bad habit. I don't ever have the sound on when I'm watching highlights. I never have the sound on. I always have it off because I'm usually doing something and I'll watch the game. So I don't know how the hell, but I have heard him pronounced a couple of different ways when I was looking up some highlights, and I couldn't come close to it. But anyways, the big Lithuanian is very talented and spaces well under the rim, can also draw fouls at a very high level. And if you don't play him smart he can get folks in foul trouble, and he's gonna get some trips to the charity stripe. Against Maryland Eastern Shore earlier this year, he had 21 free throw opportunities. Please fact check me on that. 21. I don't care who the hell you're playing. That is insane. This man fouled out half their damn team. He has 9 games of double-digit free throw attempts this year, which will likely already, with his size and physicality, will already be a problem for Arkansas. Again, he's 7 foot, just about 260 pounds, averages 16 points, 7 boards. He's scoring at 64%. Obviously, he's an around-the-rim post player. He was a transfer from Florida Atlantic, where he averages 10 points and 5 boards. He has excelled at Texas, where he's averaging 3 offensive boards per game, or 2.5. Shooting 64%, like I mentioned. By the way, he shot 67 last year for FAU, and then he's averaging almost 6 more points per game. He's excelled this year, and he's been a big part of what they're doing. I'm not sure how to feel about the matchup.
Foul him, though, because he did shoot 21 free throws, and he shot 66%.
Yeah, he's not a super high free throw shooter. but thank God this game is inside Bud Walton Arena. Arkansas will once again be facing off against another former Hog, Tremont Mark, who's averaging around 13 points per game. He just had 23 points in their last game against Texas A&M. This is a must-win game for Texas. I mean, let's not forget they're playing up against it right now, and would be a huge boost for them late in the season to win inside Bud Walton Arena. Fans must be loud. Wednesday night, 6 p.m. If you've got tickets, go. It's an early tip-off compared to these stupid-ass 8 p.m. tip-offs. So again, both these teams, they're kind of similar. Arkansas is scoring about 5 more points a game than they are. They're giving up 75. Arkansas is giving up about 80, right? I mean, they're 49% from the floor. Arkansas is right now at about 50. Well, that Florida game really did a number on some of these percentages. They average about 3 rebounds more per game at 38 to your 35. And they're averaging about 3 blocks to Arkansas's 5, and they're averaging 6 steals to Arkansas's 7. This is going to be I think it's going to be a tough game, unless I don't know. I mean, the fast tempo, scoring in transition, I feel like they're going to have to play. The shot selection's got to be on point. It's got to be better than what they saw against Florida, or what they did against Florida.
Well, so it's interesting. I was watching that Florida-Texas game, and one of the things the announcer said, Texas is not a good passing team. And if you notice, Swain leads the team in assists with 3. What Texas, I think it was Texas game was a lot of one-on-one play, if I remember right. A lot of one-on-one play, Texas versus Florida. They tried to do a lot of one-on-one stuff, and they hung in the game really well for a little while. I think it ended up a bigger margin. It ended up a bigger margin than than the game actually was. Yeah, 84-71. But it was so close for so long. Texas was actually winning at one point, and it was a lot of one-on-one battles because Texas is not a great team. So I do think that's going to create problems for us because we're not great one-on-one defenders. If that's the way they're going to play us, the way they played Florida, that's going to be very challenging because our one-on-one defense is not great.
Yeah, they can't play ISO ball against anybody. They can't man up against anybody. Guards get beat off the dribble way too often. We've got a North Carolina Tar Heel in chat that's trolling. What's Georgia ranked? Anybody? They're not. I don't know. Is that a dig at what I said earlier about Georgia being a good team at the time? I don't really know. We'll beat Texas left-handed. Here's the thing. They should beat the living shit out of Texas. This shouldn't even be a ball game. Like, it just shouldn't. And you feel this way, like, against so many teams this year. Like, you can thrash Vanderbilt, right? You can avoid the sweep against Auburn, I guess. You go toe-to-toe with the likes of Michigan State and Duke. But we haven't really, not often enough, seen them really just blow teams out of the water. And this feels like an opportunity where they should be able to, because Texas is really, they're not a bad team. I don't really know who you want to compare them to. I mean, again, they're maybe similar to like an Auburn, just in terms of wins and losses, and they are a pretty decent offense. They're floating around like the top 30, I think. They're not a Georgia. They're not an Alabama. They're not an Arkansas on offense. There's a lot of questions about what you could do with Texas. And the thing is they have options on offense. They've got different, again, they're scoring 84 points a game. That's pretty good, man. It's not what Arkansas and some of the better teams in the offensively are doing. They're doing a little better. But Texas can beat you in a number of different ways. You can't play and come out the way they did in the way they did against Florida in both the first and the second half. You can't play as flat and as just, I don't know, no energy. I don't know. It picked up. I think it picked up, and we did see like Acuff pick things up a little bit, and we saw the intensity kind of return. Of course, Billy Richmond played with a lot of intensity, but it's that game, and I realize you got to give Florida a lot of credit for what Florida was doing defensively. Again, just boxing guys completely out of those lanes. Like, it's just so easy. It's already easy enough to dribble drive on Arkansas. but their rim protection at times has been decent. Brazil can alter shots as good as anybody in this league. Again, but this just feels like it's Arkansas should just be too athletic for Texas. But then you look at like some of the games, they have won. They went to Missouri, and while Missouri's not elite, Missouri doesn't lose a lot of games at home. I think they have 1 or 2 losses all year, and Texas was one of them. Arkansas is better than Missouri, though. I think we can all agree with that. Arkansas is better than Missouri.
Again, that Florida game is a misnomer. When you look at 13-point loss, that's not what the game was. Texas was up, I think, by 6 at one point on Florida. I mean, they definitely are good. I think we can beat them, but I don't want to take anything away from them because, we were never up 6 on Florida. They were up, I think, 6 on Florida in the second half. We weren't even in the game in the second half. Our guys already checked out, went back to the hotel in their brain.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, they were done in the second half. Like it felt like this final.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Texas, they were good enough to be ahead in the second half. So it's definitely not a gimme game. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's solid enough for this to be a gimme.
Part of me wishes this was a Saturday game too, though, because switch Missouri and Texas. Yeah. Play Missouri on the road on Wednesday. I want Texas on a Saturday, a good old 11 a.m. tip off or something. I would love to play them in the morning. Early Saturday morning tip off against Texas it'd be fantastic. I love it when they come to Bud Walton, and it's great. You're playing them in Bud Walton, or I'm sorry, you're playing Texas in Bud Walton. Would like to end the year on whipping the living hell out of them. Texas has no chance. Oh, here's Country Boy. Country Boy's being positive, though. I guess I got to give him that. He's being positive. Yeah, I agree. They shouldn't. I guess it just depends on. I hate to say that. It's such a cop-out thing to say, but I guess it's true here. It depends on which Arkansas team shows up. Again, most cliche thing you can say in sports. It depends on which team shows up. That's exactly what this is, though. And that's exactly who Arkansas is this year. It's really sucks. And then it can also be good too. And we talked about it too. Like we thought it's humorous to say now, but we were like, I wonder if Florida's that marquee win for Arkansas. Because Cal obviously going to Rupp last year, and he has those. He's done that at Kentucky as well, where he gets those marquee wins on the road. We didn't have one this year in Missouri. I wouldn't call Missouri would you call that a marquee win? I wouldn't. They're behind you in the standings. They're not ranked. You've already beat them once. Like that to me is not a marquee game, but it is a game that's very important, and they are a decent team.
Yeah. So our opportunities for marquee games passed us by. Florida and Alabama would have been the ones.
That's exactly it. And they didn't get one. They Arkansas was not good on the road this year. They just weren't. I realize, they did play in East Lansing. They played Michigan State. I really, after that game, was thinking, oh my God, Arkansas they might be just incredible once SEC play rolls around. And not that they were bad, just they didn't live up to that hype for me after Michigan State. They went toe-to-toe with Duke. They did beat Louisville. They beat Texas Tech on a neutral floor, but in true road games, I mean, dude, 95-73 to Auburn, 90-76 against Georgia, who, yes, at the time was playing really good ball, especially on offense. And then, you did play well in Tuscaloosa in double overtime. You only lost by 2. Then you have another thrashing, like we mentioned at the beginning or earlier in the show. You had another thrashing, although it shouldn't be too shocking considering it's Florida, who might be good enough to win the whole damn thing. But it's still just, I thought we were over that. I thought we were over the getting blown out, and I guess we're not. So I'm not as high on Arkansas. Like a week ago, I would have said, or a little more than a week ago, I would have said, I don't know. There's a whole lot of kryptonite for Arkansas in the tournament. Like, I don't know. And then Florida showed up, was like, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
And certainly just frog stomped the Razorbacks, and it was embarrassing to watch. It sucks. But no one asked for the link, by the way. No one asked for the call-in link. It's fine, Ty, because that's not Cal's team. Well, that's what Cal says. Yeah, Steve says Knox's injury hurt.
Losing Knox does hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, it does.
Oh, did Brim ask for the link? Oh, man, shoot. If he's still in chat, I'll throw it to him, but we got to make it quick. Is he still in chat? I must have missed it. I was off reading on another page. Oh, I see it. Brim did ask for it.
It's too late now. I'm on the way to work.
Oh, damn it. Oh, my bad. My bad, Brim. Maybe next show.
Wednesday night, Brim. Just schedule it.
Yeah, well, so there won't be a Wednesday night show. Well, there will be a post game, which will act as the Wednesday night show. Thank God it's a 6 p.m. tip off, so we should be live around 8:30. And we'll also make that the Wednesday night show. If either Tim or Travis could show up, that's great. If not, I'll be here. So yeah, don't be lying, Ty. Brim asked for it 20 minutes ago. Well, okay. No, we did not. It was not 20 minutes ago. Let's see, 8:23. I'm scrolling up, see when he said that.
Link me at 8:14.
8:14. It's 8:30. Okay, 15 minutes ago. I missed it. It happens. All right. I don't always have my eye on chat. We could really use Knox's defense and 3-point shooting. Knox can be deadly outside. I mean, he's good for two. He's good for 2 of those a game. And he does play decent defense. So they are missing that. And they're missing another guy. Let's just be real. Like this whole 7-8 man rotation is. I hope we get away from this. I hope and I understand too, the availability of these guys is also in question because of injuries, but I don't know. I just hope they can add a couple more bigs out of the portal, get a couple more big bodies. You certainly need someone in for Pringle. That's for damn sure. And the question, I think the $1 million question for fans this year is why the hell is Pringle still starting? And why is he getting anything near? Why is he getting 5 minutes on the floor, let alone, 20?
Did I hear correctly that he told Cal that he could start Ewan if he wanted to? I think I heard that on is it Eric D's in the morning radio show? I think he said Pringle told Cal, if you want to start Ewan, you can start him.
You know what? Now that you say that, I think I do remember hearing that.
So that does make it interesting why Cal isn't starting Ewan. Like Pringle's obviously lost any confidence he had. Not that he appeared to have much to begin with, but
yeah,
I swear I heard that on a radio show. It may have been Prop Boganda, but I think it was D's in the morning.
Okay, yeah. So they're saying they said it during the game. Other Mike said that was halftime of the last game. So there you go. I'll be damned. Yeah, I must have. Were we doing a live in Discord?
You do some lives at halftime sometimes.
I might have been live when they said that. Then that's crazy. Yeah, I'm sure. Is it Eric G on 92.1 or not 92.1? 90, maybe it is 92.1. Eric G and Levi Peckinpah.
Something like that.
They do a good job. I just friended Levi on Facebook. Yeah, I think they do a really good job. Levi knows ball, man. Levi knows ball. It's worth a listen for people who don't want to listen to Chuck and Bo in the morning. I listen to them both. I do. I And by the way, if you catch Chuck and Bo when they go live, the ads are nowhere near as bad, and they talk a lot of ball. I just discovered this. I listened to it on the playback on YouTube because I wanted to hear their reaction to what happened on Saturday. And there were no ads, and they talked ball. I was like, oh my God, this takes me back to 2009 when Bo had his show. Holy crap. It was worth listening to. For that first half. The problem is and I listen, I have no Bo is, I know there's people out there that don't like him or Chuck and they don't like their show. I think they do a good job. I just do. As far as the production of their show and everything they do, it's really good from that angle. Yes, sometimes I don't agree with them. Okay. There's several times I don't agree with them. And then they have Bart on there. Bart will push back. He will push back. So it's kind of worth listening when Bart is. And by the way, I guess Bart's also like really good at gambling. He's really good at betting the games. So people are like he probably needs to have his own service or something, giving advice on betting on games. But yeah, I think they do a good job. There's not really a radio show. Well, there's one radio show in the afternoon I just cannot listen to, but I think the morning guys do a pretty decent job, man. It's not easy, guys. Doing a 3-hour radio show. Oh my God.
Well, I would push back that it's probably easier to do a 45-minute morning radio show with 2 hours and 15 minutes of commercials.
That's probably fair.
But I know that's what I listen for is who's sponsoring them today so we can figure out how to get them to sponsor Tuss Talk.
Especially at like 7 because I listen to them in the morning when I take my girls to Lisa Academy, when I take them to school here in Springdale, and I just have them on, and I'll kind of switch back when Chuck and Bo go to commercial. I'll put it on the radio and I'll listen to Eric G and Levi Peckinpah, and they talk a lot of ball. They just talk ball. Mm-hmm. But then they get into like wrestling, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm gonna turn it. I'm not gonna listen to wrestling. But no, they do a good job. I'm not gonna hate on anybody that can put together a 3-hour, and like you said, it's a lot of commercials. But I'm not gonna hate on anybody that puts together a 3-hour show and can do it 5 days a week. I don't know how the hell you do it. I just don't. I struggle putting together 3 or 4 topics for a live show that goes 90 minutes, even though it's uninterrupted. On our end, it's uninterrupted. So I've always said, get rid of the 2 in the evening and put Ty in there. Oh, that's so kind. I'm not going to say names. It's just, they've made it clear that they're not a sports show. And that's why I just don't listen to it. They just don't really talk sports. I don't listen to Chuck and Bo unless a big time guest is on. That's the thing. That was always the strength of Bo shows, man. The guests he would bring on were awesome, and they were really good, in-depth, like conversations. I thought, So, all right. Appreciate the kind words, Joe. That was really nice. They couldn't pay me enough, man. They could, but I wouldn't be in the producer role. I don't know how the hell you put together those shows for 5 days a week. Think about it in like June, July. Early part of August. Oh, it's brutal when there's not much sports to talk about. All right. People are dumping out, so we're going to do the same. Appreciate everyone for hopping in here and being on the live. We appreciate Patreon supporters and of course, direct service overhead. I have a new ad read from Travis. I'm going to pull it up here. It's a good one. Hang on. Where's it at? Okay, here we go. All right, guys. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, serving all of Central Arkansas. Spring is almost here, which means one thing: garage door season is back. Broken springs, loud doors, openers not working. This is when everything starts failing after winter. The good news: they just launched a brand new website. It is badass, by the way. The new website's really slick. They just launched a brand new website with online booking. That's a big deal there. You don't even have to call in anymore. Just scan the QR code, which is not presently on the screen. Pick your service, choose your time, and schedule instantly. Need garage door repair in Central Arkansas? New door upgrade, opener repair? These are the local pros. Everybody's calling. Fast, local, honest service. Call now, 501-244-3667, and get your garage door ready for spring. Direct Service Overhead Garage Door Company, Arkansas owned, Arkansas trusted. So shout out to Travis Ford and the boys holding it down in Central Arkansas. There you go. New garage door DLC just dropped. That's great. All right, everybody. We'll see you Wednesday night after the game. Be good. As I look for my outro video. Oh, there it is.